So this is my La Liga part to my video. So it's probably gonna be like part two, or I'm gonna see like how I titled it, but you guys will see the title. Anyway, so today my team Real Madrid won today. They did play Osasuna, so it's not a big team, but picking up 3 points is always a good thing. Ronaldo scored his first goal of the season and in his first game of the season. So he did miss the first 2 games because of his injury, but I'm okay with that. If he's not ready to play, then just let him take a break. He usually doesn't get injured that much anyway, so it's not like we're gonna miss him for that much of the season anyway. But either way, Mugadi's back, Mugadi scored. It was a tap-in, but the goal's a goal. Also, our defenders scored most of our goals, so I'm glad that our defenders are like scoring, but I'd prefer more of our forwards score because like that's their jobs. So hopefully they'll score more, but I doubt it's gonna be a problem because they've been like scoring goals in the early games. But yeah, all in all, I think Madrid played pretty well today, and I think that they're gonna play well in the next coming weeks in La Liga. I really don't see them like dipping in form because they have a pretty good squad. They have like depth in their squad, and honestly, the transfer ban, like I'm probably gonna make another separate video on it because I'm a Madrid fan and I want to talk about it. But I don't think it's gonna be that much of a problem for us at the moment because we do have a pretty stacked team. So either way, I think Madrid are gonna do pretty well this season, and hopefully they can keep it up. So the next part, I'm going to talk about Atletico Madrid. So they finally got their first win of the season. So they've been struggling this season. Like it's just not like them. Usually they get off to a pretty good start. Like they usually don't lose too many games. Most of the time that happens near the end for them. But this season has been a pretty rough start. A lot of people have been thinking like they won't be up there this year again. They won't be in the top 3. But honestly, I think that they're just going through a bad time. I think their style of play is getting a bit like outdated because they usually play super defensive and play in their own half of the field. Honestly, to stop that, all you have to do is just copy it and play in your own half of the field, and that's going to force Atletico to push up and break their formation. And I really didn't watch the game that much today, so I don't know how the game went, but I just saw the goals. So it's good that Atletico won. I think that Simeone's gonna have to try something new with his players because playing like the parking the bus all the time, it works. It can work like a few times, like for like a couple seasons or so, because they do get to 2 Champions League finals over the past 2 years in a similar fashion that way. But honestly, it gets old and teams will already know like how you play. So I think that they need to just make something new and they'll continue their success. They have a good squad, so there's no reason they shouldn't be like up there with Real Madrid and Barcelona. But yeah, and that's my review on that. Let's go forward to today's game. So the next game I'm going to talk about is Barcelona. So today they lost the newly promoted side, and that was Alaves. And honestly, it was a bad performance from Barcelona. They're really trying to win. Like the players are really trying hard. They're making a lot of chances, but Alves just really kept a tight defense. They weren't letting Barcelona get it with their give and goes. Yeah, that's what it's saying. Barcelona really couldn't find a lot of space, so they really struggled with that. On top of that, they started the game without Suarez and Messi. I think Messi probably had like a little injury problem, but it couldn't be that bad seeing they did put him on later in the game. And I think they put Suarez on pretty much near halftime, if not at that time. But yeah, either way, Messi and Suarez, like, they weren't able to score in today's game, so obviously they didn't start, so that took away like some of their their opportunities to score. But either way, it was a good job for Alves for beating the current champions of La Liga. I think they did well. Barcelona just needs to just do better in the next game. But obviously they will. They usually get off to a rough start in the beginning of the season, but obviously they usually turn it around like midway in the season, and then they just go on like continuous win streaks. So I'm glad right now that Madrid's on top of the table. I hope it stays that way till the very end of the season, because that's what I really want. But honestly, I really do think Barcelona are gonna come back. They did just lose one game, and they weren't using Umtiti, and I really don't know if he was injured or whatever. But if he was available, they should have used him, because in my opinion, he is better than Mascherano. To me, Mascherano is better as a holding or defensive midfielder. Like if you watch Argentina, or if you see like his old games in Liverpool, like that's his natural position, and he's much better there than he is at center back. So I think Umtiti would have been better as a center back, because he's really good. Other than that, I think Barcelona, this is just a bad game for them, and in their other games they will start with their main three players, Messi, Neymar, and Suarez, and I think they'll get better. But other than that, it was a good game for Alaves. I watched the game, like most of it, and I think it was a pretty good, entertaining game. So yeah, that's just my review on Barcelona and Alaves.